Hello everybody, Valkrill back again. As always, if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you dragon fist that like button, subscribe and tick the bell so you know when my next video is live. Speaking of live, if you want to catch me live on Twitch, the description will have a link for you. Janemba made canon. Today we are going to go over a possible Dragon Ball Super arc that could be done in the future. This idea comes from my love of the Dragon Ball Z movie Fusion Reborn. If you haven't seen Fusion Reborn, you need to. Go check that out, then come back to this video. I'm sure if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you will absolutely love it. So, Janemba in Fusion Reborn. At first, he's just a normal worker in the other world who has an accident with a machine called the Spirit Cleanser. The machine explodes and leaks spiritual waste that mutates him into a blob of a character very similar to Majin Buu, but a whole lot bigger. And he calls himself Janemba. Goku and Pikkon try to lead him down to hell so they can better control the situation. Speaking of Pikkon, who wants Pikkon back? Maybe we'll do a video on that. I love that guy. He's such a cool character. Anyways, but Janemba is way stronger than he looks. He also has the ability to cross through dimensions and avoid damage, or he could use this ability for offense as well. Goku blasts Janemba at one point, and it triggers a transformation in Janemba. He turns into a regular-sized humanoid that looks like Frieza and Cell made a demonic baby together. In my opinion, he is one of the coolest looking characters in all of Dragon Ball. I think he would make a great main villain for an entire arc of the series, and that's what we're talking about here. So, how do we go about introducing him? Well, I, come up with ideas off the top of my head, sit there and ponder for a while, but this is one way I thought of. There's many different routes you could take with this. I'll probably elaborate on those later, but this is a rough draft of how it would go down. Alright, so somewhere down the line in Dragon Ball Super, we get to a chill point in the series. Like, it seems like everything's good. Everything's at peace. There's no enemies at this moment. Then all of a sudden, Jocko from the Galactic Patrol shows up, and he's got quite a few people with him. He's pretty much got an army with him, and a lot of ships, a lot of equipment, fancy stuff. Okay, so they arrived at Bulma's place, right? And they're looking for none other than Majin Buu. And Jocko calls Bulma over. So he wants to quietly whisper this. He doesn't want to, make the situation too bad. He tells her what he needs. And what he needs is Majin Buu in custody. The Galactic Patrol has decided that Majin Buu is too dangerous to allow to roam free. Despite his childlike disposition, they argue that this is precisely why he cannot be trusted. Now hear me out, everybody. This is going to be a sad moment, especially if you like Majin Buu. I think most people like Majin Buu, especially this version of Majin Buu. But every great arc needs some emotional attachment, some loss. Alright, so back to the story. Luckily for Jocko and the other patrolmen, Majin Buu is sound asleep in one of his hibernation periods, it seems. Or I'd like to call it a candy coma. Jocko and the patrolmen approach Majin Buu, who is sound asleep, with what looks like, as I can only describe, as Jimmy Neutron's magical storage cube, but a little bit bigger, with a handle on top, so it's easy to carry around. We then see Bulma making a phone call, paging Goku and Vegeta, whoever she could get her hands on. She's just trying to get a hold of somebody to come stop this from happening. The scene switches back to Jocko and the patrol, and we see him press a button on top of the magical cube, and Majin Buu is sucked inside. We then see that Bulma was able to get a hold of Vegeta. It shows Vegeta and Goku training together. And of course, Bulma's yelling at them, saying, "Get here right now, I demand it. You better hurry up there, Jocko's here taking blah blah blah." The camera then pans over to see a door open, and Hercule walks in. And he's like, "What's all the commotion about?" He walks up behind Bulma, taps her on the shoulder, and is like, "Hey, have you seen Majin Buu?" She hangs up on Vegeta, then turns around and says, "Yeah, the Galactic Patrol is taking him. They say he's too dangerous." Hercule looks dumbfounded. Oh, wait, what? Hercule runs out the door looking for Majin Buu, only to see the Galactic Patrol marching away towards their ships. Hercule starts yelling while running after them, saying, "You can't do that! Majin Buu wouldn't hurt a fly! What do you think you're doing?" But before he can get there, they're already on the ships, and they all take off. The camera pans back to Bulma, and we see Vegeta and Goku appear behind her via instant transmission. Vegeta and Goku look around, trying to assess the situation. They ask Bulma, "Where'd Buu go?" But Bulma is now just on her knees crying. She can't believe what just happened. The scene changes, and then we see Jocko walking with the magical cube, delivering it to his boss. Two guards take the cube from Jocko and give it to the big boss man. Jocko then asks, "So are we just going to keep him around in that cube forever, or what's the deal here?" The big boss man says, "No, he will be executed immediately. He is far too dangerous and unpredictable. He could escape from this cube or any chamber we try to hold him in at any time. You never know." Jocko looks stunned. He begins to protest, but bites his tongue. Jocko watches as they take him away. We then see the big boss man hook up the magical cube to a giant device known as the Galactic Incinerator. He presses the button on the magical cube, releasing Majin Buu into the incinerator. Then he starts the incinerator. We see the charge percentage on the incinerator grow slowly, all the way until it reaches 100%. The camera then zooms in on Majin Buu's face, and we see his eyes open slowly as he's waking up. The big boss noticed he was opening his eyes and says, "Perfect timing." He flips the switch, and it ignites. Majin Buu wails the same way he wailed when Majin Vegeta self-sacrificed to try to destroy him. The boss man takes a step back and just watches and waits. All you can see is a blinding light, nothing else, and hear the screams of Majin Buu. All of a sudden, the incinerator starts malfunctioning, and we see error codes popping up. Majin Buu's wailing now turns into a demonic-like howl. Now it's just the sound of pure rage. The big boss man orders his men to try and fix the machine before it's too late. They start typing away, but it is too late. Out of nowhere, an arm stretches from the glass and reaches around Big Boss's neck. The boss man, gasping for air, clawing at the hand around his throat, doesn't recognize the arm that is holding on to him. The arm retracts and sucks the boss man into the light, never to be seen again. And then a demonic howl of epic proportions is unleashed, causing shockwaves through the universe. We see King Kai, Earth, Supreme Kai, Beerus. All of them feel it. Then, out of nowhere, a massive wave of energy is released from inside the incinerator, turning everything around it, the entire facility, into a giant gingerbread home. All lights, noise, any distractions of any kind cease. A purple smoky mist settles on the floor. The camera settles on the legs standing in the smoke, but they don't appear to be Majin Buu's. So whose are they? The camera pans up. Slowly, we see a creature standing there, menacing, looking at himself in awe. The creature looks outside of what used to be the incinerator and finds pieces of chocolate shaped like humans on the floor. He picks one up and licks his lips and says, "Janemba," and then swallows it whole. The angle changes and we see dozens of Galactic Patrol ships arrive on the scene, surrounding him. They open fire, and Janemba instinctively teleports through dimension. The camera now focuses on an empty space above the dozens of patrolmen, where we see Janemba's face peek through reality, like he's looking through a window. Purple energy beams emit from his horns, jumping around as they hit each patrolman one by one, each one of them turning into a delicious treat more delectable than the last. Janemba inhales, and all of them fly into his mouth. Gone. He then brings the rest of his body back into this dimension. And that's where I think I would just end the episode. And this sets them up for anything, really. You could have Vegeta, Goku, Gohan, whoever, the whole crew show up to try to stop this monster. But the other thing I really wanted to add to the story is kind of going off of the movie and taking it one step further. Because in the movie Fusion Reborn, they talk about the potential of Janemba being able to open up a dimensional rift between hell and the real world. So Otherworld would then spill out. Everyone that's dead is just all crossing over. The living are now amongst the dead. And I think that would make for an insane arc to have Janemba be created in this fashion and then have basically a heaven versus hell type arc, or hell versus reality, if you will. Because obviously you'd have the bad guys come back that are dead, but the good guys would also come back, like Goku, Pikkon, all those goody two-shoe powerful dudes you saw in Otherworld. And I think that would be able to be an extremely long arc with lots of ups and downs. And you could even have one or multiple major new enemies come forth from this arc and have them bleed over into other arcs. Maybe they don't show up right away and they're just like hiding out waiting for the storm to settle so they can make sure they win and have their goals achieved. You know, they're just hatching their secret plan, waiting. They've been waiting this whole time for something like this to go down, and finally it did, and they're not going to waste their opportunity. That would be totally cool. And then when it's all said and done and they finally defeat Janemba, you get a glimpse of that new enemy. Everything's all restored, everyone's put back into hell, blah 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 blah. And then you find out, but wait, there's one or multiple that managed to stay out and not get dragged back in. So that's the future arc, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if anyone has any great ideas for future content for me, I will check it out. And if you guys stick around to the end, I got a quick Twitch clip sneak peek for you. And until next time, Valkrill out.
Enemy claimed Zone C. Zone A captured. Zone B captured. You have advantage. Zone C captured. You have zone advantage. You're getting stronger as you fight. I love it! Oh no! Zone C lost.
Floaty warlock, walking down the street.
You captured Zone A. You have zone advantage. Ikora would be proud of you, Warlock. Don't let up.
No idea. He had no idea. None whatsoever. Are you gonna get him?
Five minutes left. Keep it up. Double down. Fire. Two for one. You made that look easy, Warlock.